All right, it looks like.
Notification volume set to 0. Talk back off.
Okay, so I'm recording. This is my first time in a really long time having space on a device and a capability to record a video, not on like Instagram or Facebook Live, so I could put it on my YouTube and different places and just have it for my own use. So it's really exciting. And so, what I want to share about this morning, this is definitely going to be a My Public Diary share, as well as I am going to teach you or I don't like using the word teach sometimes, tell you about some of the ways that I have learned how to love, and some of the ways that I love showing up in love. And um, if you can hear in the background, there is Christmas music. I love Christmas. The energy of Christmas, it's magical. It's like, for me, it's just, I don't know, it just brings back this nostalgia and this whimsicalness. And I love magic. I love frolicking and whimsical energy. And I was the last kid in school to stop believing in Santa Claus. Like, that idea, just believe. It's like there's something really potent. There's potent medicine that I find in dropping into the energy of Christmas. And you mean what Christmas means to everybody is so different. Everybody is so different. But so if you've been following along on my Instagram and Facebook, and a little bit here and there, I have been developing a whole new relationship with my mom. Um, since going blind and, in the midst of the continuation of losing my vision rapidly and feeling extremely humbled by life and lost, and this last year and a half of my life having been really fucking challenging. And I, coming back here and everything, I have been humbled into asking for help in ways that I would have never fathomed. And through this, I am learning so much and creating so much healing. Okay, Google, stop timer. In so many areas of my life, my mind, body, soul. And so, what I've been doing, and I asked my mom if she could really be more, available and open to helping me in my life right now. We, basically, I seeing a lot more of my mom and letting her help me in a lot of ways that, for one, I'm not used to needing help, period, from anyone. These are all things I used to be able to do on my own. And two, I haven't needed my mom's help or felt this high level of need. Like I've been saying, I feel like a baby again. And where else do you go, But back to the womb. Like, I really feel like I'm going back to the womb in so many ways, and learning and growing and healing some really old stuff too. Like, through going blind, I am finding there is a lot up here, in here, in here, in all of this that I still have to spend some more time looking at and getting to know and getting comfortable with. whatever that means or looks like, I don't know. But I have an extensive history of trauma on every level. But one of the biggest things that has been my struggle since when I was 21, I handed over my life to, turned my will over to God and to humanity and service and fellowship and the knowledge of others, because I was a mess. And at that time, I really was very wounded. And I was just coming out of literally living an entire life of highly traumatic experiences from when I came out of the womb till when I was 21, when I put down heroin and crack and alcohol and pills and all the other stuff. What I was left with, and I wasn't blind then, I wasn't physically blind, but what I was left with when I was finally feeling, because I wasn't feeling for a really long time, I was completely numb. I was under the influence of one substance or another daily. I started around between the ages of 12 and 14, and then around 14 to 15 till the age of 21, I was under the influence 24/7 of one substance or another. The only time that I wasn't is, between 14 and say 16, I didn't always have access, but it was daily use of something. And then by the age of 16, I have found many access points to make sure that I was numb 24/7. And so from that point on, the only time when I wasn't under the influence of drugs or alcohol is when I was passed out. And when I say passed out, I say pass out because I didn't really go to sleep much. It was, I passed out. I would stay awake for long periods of time, a week. Lots. I didn't sleep a lot. And then when I was heavily drinking, I would just pass out, blackout. And then, if I got arrested or went to rehab, which I went in and out of rehab and institutions between. I first got arrested for my first time at 18, and then between the ages of 18 and 21 is when I started going in and out of institutions until finally at 21 I just stopped it all. And I'm 34, and since then I've been doing a lot of healing work on myself, and I have taken on a life of service and helping others heal and grow in so many ways. And but since going blind over the last year and a half, I have been given a viewpoint into some areas that I still need healing, and that in order for me to continue showing up in the world that I want to, in my highest light, and offer the highest healing light services that I want to, and continue growing and evolving on both ends, personally and professionally, right now it's like I'm, having to put more focus on me being my number one client. I'm not doing as much of the professional side of my healing work. Right now, there is a lot more focus on the personal side because that's where I need to be. I still, see a decent amount of clients, but I know my yeses and I know my nos, and I know right now, and people that have been working with me throughout the 8 years of my, exploring all this know that Candace is very organic and true to herself. And so what that means is that how Candace is able to show up personally and professionally is going to shift and evolve, And so right now, say, even if I wasn't blind, or, well, let's not say that, because I am, whatever. So even if I was able to all of a sudden manage my business and do all the technical stuff I want to do for my business, or boom, all of a sudden I got someone who, could step up as a business partner or a virtual assistant, I am not in the place to fully show up for all that I want to do, So I'm getting more clear and more aware. And also one of the biggest things for me is loving myself where I am and not making a story about it and judging myself and comparing myself to the self of a year ago, the self of 2 years ago, or other people that I see as colleagues, or people that I'm really inspired by, that were my teachers, and other healing practitioners. I've been catching myself saying, "Oh, I used to be doing that. I miss doing that. I want to do that again." And then instead of just it being there, I go into this story of condemning, self-condemnation, and devaluing myself because I'm not doing that right now. And so right now it's like reminding myself, like, I still am, just because I'm not doing all that I was doing doesn't mean I am not all that I am and have been, and not that I am not capable of doing these things. It's just not where I'm at right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It's fucking hard, just having all this capacity and then all of a sudden it's all taken. So anyways, I want to get back to sharing about my mom and that relationship and the healing going on there. And I think there was one other point I wanted to tie into that, going blind, with my history. I am healing some really old, deep-seated wounding from my history of sexual violence. I have experienced being sexually violated in many ways, from my childhood into my preteen, teen, adult. The biggest thing, I carry a lot of shame around in story, and something about it, and a lot of the violence, the part, the childhood stuff is the stuff that's a little bit easier for me. It's when I was on the streets and addicted to drugs, and I was a street prostitute, and I also was sex trafficked, and I have my own personal story about that versus, when others, for some reason, I have found some way to create um, levels of, there's more shame associated with that than with a lot of other things that I've experienced. And being addicted to drugs and on the streets and homeless and that whole part of my life, um, for some reason, I have a lot of wounding around. And I'm understanding it better, and relating to my mom is really helping me. So if you really knew me, you know that my mom knows everything about me. My mom has also experienced and been through a lot of the same stuff. And we experienced some of this stuff together and some of it not together. And so stepping up and relating to my mom is extremely healing and helpful. But there are other layers and levels that are like hard work. And that's why I am kind of making this choice that, like, my mom is now my central relationship and primary partner. And, it's working. I work with Scott Katanas of Love Coach Academy. He's been my love coach for a bit now. And I was sharing with him about this. And as I was sharing it, it all clicked. And I remembered, like, no matter what, like, that's great, Candace, that you're focusing on this relationship. And then remember, for me, I see that as there's a 5-finger rule, and then it's like there's Candace care, and in Candace care right now, so this is Candace care, my relationship with my mom and healing that and focusing on that and learning to receive her love and help is one part. And in order for me to really do that, there are other parts. And my relationship with God, Spirit, Universe, Divine, Energy, the unknown, mysticism, universalism, all of that. And then there's the relationship with and I think this is where I am, and this is a really good awareness that I don't think I would have realized unless I sat and went through this in this video. I know this 5-finger rule because it's something I created when I changed my life when I was 21, and I used it to avoid getting lost in sexual and romantic love affairs so I could focus on self-care. And my relationship with my sponsor and myself and God were two of the things, And then there was meetings, sponsorship. It was more AA based. And this is one of the things I keep going back to, like, what did I do back when I was 21 that helped me, when I was first facing all this shit? What are the things that helped me? And I'm going back to basics, back to those healing tools. That AA and the 12 steps are not my path and not my truth anymore. But there are still many beautiful components. And what I'm now learning through sitting here doing this with you is that, my 5-finger rule is great. But what are those other 3 things for me now? It's not AA meetings. I don't have a sponsor anymore. I'm not sponsoring people anymore. There just are things that worked for me then that aren't working for me anymore. But I am in this really open place, in this huge place of transition, that I'm trying to figure out what are those other grounding points for Candace as Candace today. What are, like if I was to set up 5 daily ritual routines, 5, like if there was a 5-finger checklist for self-care that, whenever I'm feeling off whack, I'm like, hey, Candace, what's going on in your 5-finger sector? Which one of those things is feeling off? And let's tend to that. Um, I think I need to dive deeper into what is that? What are those things for me as me today? And I really, I keep getting this feeling like it's just, and this is all I say to Scott, like, Scott, I have fucking flustered and flabbergasted and confuzzled. Like, I don't know the answers. Yeah, that's one of the biggest humbling things. Like, everything I thought I knew is just, everything's not, and everything's different. And so, accepting that I don't know and then loving myself in that and not making a judgment story of it, and remembering that I've been on a huge amazing healing journey, and I have a giant toolbox of things, and so I don't have to know. It's like an open playing field right now, and I get to pick and choose and figure out what are those things. Like right now, I think the UU Church, the Universalist Unitarian Church, is definitely becoming one of my my pedestals, my grounding roots, one of my 5-finger rules. That community, that connection, that fellowship, and rooting myself in the UU. Planting those roots. Yeah. Okay, so I've been talking a lot, my public diarying, and I want to show you, because this is kind of supposed to be the biggest thing. So, in this new relationship with my mom and receiving all of her love, there's a lot of struggles, I'm not always able to receive. And there are times when there's caregiving and caretaking. And there are times when I feel like my boundaries are overstepped. And that's not her intentions. She just wants to help, And for me, I just want to, I need so much help that there are times when I just want to do something on my own. And it's really hard. So I decided I wanted to create a love mailbox. So me and my mom we are crafters and creators, and artists, and we also both speak the language of gift giving, the language of love, gift giving, very fluently. And for that means we both love giving and receiving gifts, and we love handmade and created gifts too. So what you see here, this was actually the box that my new talking scale came in, and I'm gaining weight. It's exciting. And my mom is actually the big addition, that's helping me with getting back in the kitchen. And so it's really interesting how I chose this as I make magic boxes, I don't know if you've seen my other magic boxes, and it's a very high intentional process. And some things I don't choose, like I did not choose this box thinking of that. I'm just now, as I'm making this video, realizing, holy shit, so the whole intention of this box is to put messages of love and gratitude from my mom into it. And I'm just now realizing, one of the big things I'm grateful for is how she's helping me gain weight. And it's the scale box. So, there is an opening in the box to put my love notes, and then all around the box I am putting different artifacts and creations and writing little love notes. She just gifted me a costume the other day, and this is the wrapping paper from the costume. And then she loves butterflies, and so I have a butterfly tied on here for her. I tied it just right so that the wings still flap. And then hanging here is so I can write the love notes, and I have everything right here that I need to write my love notes. I have to go looking for anything. There's one of my special crayons, and then on a clothespin I have different little cool pieces of paper and cardboard and stuff, because my writing right now is barely legible. It's very hard for me to write straight and stuff. You know, when you go blind, it's very hard. I can craft and create and do all sorts of things and make and put myself together and make an amazing temple, but I can't write in a straight line. So when I do writing stuff, I have to let go and just have it be fun. So I have like fun paper, because each love note isn't just about what I'm writing. It's also about putting loving energy into the creation, spending the time, especially for me, where I can't really put all that energy into writing a long letter and note like I used to. I mean, if you really know me, you know I'm an avid writer. I have a big thing of journals, lots of writing. I love writing, and if you look on my Facebook and my FetLife, you can see lots of writing too, and my Instagram. So this is the first love note for my mom, and I made it with a piece of cardboard that was holding the costume my mom gifted me of a bumblebee, and she told me, she was like, just be yourself, as she gave it to me. And so there's notes all around this about. So my mom also loves blinkies and blingies and glowy things. So there's glow sticks in here, and there's I tied it up and wrapped it up and there's a little ring wrapped up in this, and it says, my mom blings. I got that glow, mom. I just wrote like little silly things about having a blinky mom, and there's glow sticks in there as well. So this is inside. I did write in there. I wrote a little love note. No idea if it's legible. So I'm gonna put that in there. And then, so I have this new thing called the Pen Friend. The Pen Friend creates stickers that you could put on things that are you create like audio. They're like audio labels. I can record. So I stick this Pen Friend to this little sticker, and I push a button and it'll record. It'll re-record all that. And I have this locket, this vintage locket. I don't know where I got it from. I've had it for so long. And there's actually a picture in it. I don't know what it is or of. But what I'm going to do is put one of those audio stickers in here and record love notes for my mom. And then she can choose to wear it, or, when she's ready for a new recording, I can re-record it, like every time I see her and stuff. And, because for me, I'm much more verbal nowadays. And, yeah, that was really exciting when I thought about this idea, because, I love love. I love giving love, and my mom loves love too, and gifts and jewelry and blinkies and blingies and crafting, and we're very much alike. So I can imagine, like I can already see her lighting up when she receives this gift, and I'm just so excited, and I'm excited to have this place to now, especially, I was really inspired to create this because I was having a hard time yesterday. We had a little flare up where basically I was doing something on my own, and she came in and she just started getting involved and doing this thing, or what she saw as helping me, but I didn't ask for help, and I didn't need help, and I didn't want help. And there was an energetic, yeah. And I'm like, this is what really inspired me to create the love box, because when that happens, I really just want to be able to come back to love and gratitude, because that's just what I know helps. And yeah, I've been talking for a really long time, and yeah, I'm just excited for my new healing creation of love, to add to this relationship with my mom, this new relationship I'm developing with my mom. And it's teaching me so much about love, life, and myself, and relating. So it feels really good. It's going to enhance my capacity to relate to myself, God, and all of life and others. So, yeah. Meow. All right. Have a beautiful, wonderful day, everyone. And I'm so excited because I could put this video in all sorts of places now. And I can't believe I talked so long, though. Okay. Bye.